Good afternoon, Southern Solitero. So today, by request, we are going ahead and adding again to the Golden State Killer series. So today we are going to do Manulea Witthuhn is how I found it pronounced. So if I'm pronouncing it wrong, I apologize, but I'm going to go ahead and pronounce it again, Witthuhn, because that is how I was able to find it pronounced. So again, her name was Manulea Witthuhn. She was 28 years old. She died on, this happened in February 1981. So obviously the Golden State Killer, his name is Joseph James D'Angelo. He was caught at the age of 72. His crime spanned from 1975 to 1986. There was at least 12 murders and 45 rapes. That there could be more or less, but that's what they know of. So she was basically found bludgeoned to death and also sexually assaulted. So her husband, David, suffered extreme grief, anxiety, and depression for many years following this. He had said that D'Angelo had black, soulless eyes and only referred to D'Angelo as the convict when he did speak of him. So we're basically going to ask Manulea to come in with her spirit guides and kind of give us a little bit of a view from how she kind of saw what was, happening and her viewpoint of the whole situation. And then we'll go ahead and clarify it. We're going to use the Tarot de la Nuit to start off. And then we're going to clarify it with the steampunk. And then I have some oracle decks that I'll use as I feel the need to whenever we get to the end. So I want to thank y'all for clicking on the video. This was y'all's request to do this series. So we're going ahead and add to it now. And then we have two more of the cases that we'll be adding later. So I'm going to ask for Manulea to come in with her spirit guides, my spirit guides, all the archangels, source, we're going to ask her about the day that she was murdered by Joseph James D'Angelo. And then we're going to also ask about the time around it and how she feels now. Is there anything that she wants the collective to know about the situation? So I want to thank her for coming in and sharing her side with us. Again, we want to thank Manulea and her spirit guides. So we're going to ask Manulea basically if there was anything going on, maybe the days or weeks leading up that she could have noticed what was coming. And there's a Four of Wands. So the Four of Wands shows the energy that was coming up that was about to shake her home's foundation. So it is showing there was an unhappiness that was about to come in on the home. So that is going to be fire energy. So what would you like us to know about the day that he came and broke into your house and basically assaulted you and bludgeoned you? Is there anything that you would like us to know about that particular day and when it happened? She's saying in that particular day, whenever it happened, she felt Queen of Swords energy. So that's going to be Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. So whenever, I think she's already going straight into when it happened, because right away, this is going to be in defense mode. So, but it is showing that she kind of, I feel, put up a fight against him. She didn't just let it happen. She was very vocal, and she was very action-wise. The Queen in reverse, Swords in reverse, can be very harsh, not only with her words, but she can get physically harsh if she or physically rough if she needs to. So she is saying that she didn't just let it happen. She did fight back. So how do you feel now where you are? Is there anything that you would like us to know? She's saying where she feels now is a bit of the Page of Cups and the Queen of Wands energy in reverse. So the reason I think she's feeling that a bit still is because she's saying, she did feel an emotional dumping out of a situation, and it did take her out of the energy that she was in when she was on Earth. I think when she was on Earth, she did have a Queen of Wands energy as well. So I think she was very magnetic. People liked to talk to her. She was very sociable. She was dressed very well. A lot of times your Queen of Wands, they're going to be your Leos, Sagittarius, Aries individuals. But again, they are very social. They like to get dressed up. They like to wear nice things. They, are pretty much like the life of the party type thing. And she was saying that's how she feels. He kind of took her out of that element that she enjoyed very much when she was here. So with the Four of Wands leading up to the day of her murder, can you show us why the Four of Wands is here for the days leading up to your passing? Because of the moon. So I want to say this happened at night too, the crime. And most of his crimes did. So the moon is going to hide secrets. It's going to also release cycles. There was times that he would, go ahead and do different things. He would rape, burglarize, murder. He was always going, kind of sneaking around at the night certain times. So it is showing, she's validating that as whenever he probably was, kind of plotting on doing this to her. He was probably watching her at night, going through cycles, planning it, and it was something that was done in the dark. So, she's acknowledging that as well. Why else is the moon here for the days leading up to your passing, as far as him basically being around at night before he went ahead? Yeah, the Knight of Swords. So the Knight of Swords energy came in. That's more Gemini, Libra, Aquarius energy. And so that might be why she went into that energy to fight back towards it. But it does show that he came in fast. And usually the Knight of Swords, it's not on this card, but usually they are kind of wielding a sword. So they come in very fast and they can be very harsh, and they will come in ready to kind of fight. Kind of like the Wands, but a little bit more just, they come in and do what they need to do. There's not as much talking, but there is communication with that sign. So, but they do just kind of come in and execute whatever it is that they need to do. So she is saying by him coming in that way, it threw her into the Queen of Swords in reverse because of the way he came in and approached her and was speaking and behaving. So with the Queen of Swords in reverse, let's see, what can you tell us about the energy of the Queen of Swords in reverse? What can you tell us about the energy of the Queen of Swords in reverse and why you were there? Can you tell us why you were in the Queen of Swords? Because of the Nine of Cups. So it's almost like she kind of was gonna not bow down to him. She, in the sense of like most people, something like that would happen and you would think that you would probably get really quiet and be submissive and do whatever it is. With her, I do not feel that that is what she felt. She felt that, she was going to stay in her power, sit and guard her things, and, she was in her home. But again, he was kind of also looking at her as the trophy too. So she was trying to very much sit in her energy and not emotionally let him see that it was getting to her too much. But there was, he was looking at her as also adding to that energy. So it was a little bit of both their energy there, just for different reasons. So let's go ahead and see why the Nine of Cups is here too. Can you please show us why the Nine of Cups is here? Because of the King of Swords now in reverse. So with the Queen of Swords in reverse, the King of Swords, he came in as the Knight. That shows that this is now also the opposite energy of being this way. When they're in this energy, they're pleasant. They help organize. They're very good at strategizing. They're very vocal people, and they're very smart. So, but when they're in reverse, they use it for all the wrong reasons. They can be very harsh with their words. And again, the King and Queen of Sword, and when they are in reverse, they are known as the off with your head King and Queens. So in this situation, unfortunately, it was a murder, but like I said, with those being in reverse, it shows that energy there was very tense, sharp, and there was communication going on between them about it. But like I said, again, I do feel like it wasn't as easy as he thought it was going to be. And with the Four of Cups in reverse, for him, this was that cup that he had been waiting for, so he finally went and took the cup. So that is also why he is in reverse, because he went and took the cup, and it was for the wrong reasons. So, and he, took someone's life. So that is why that would put him into reverse, and then she's in reverse here because of his behavior. So can you show us why the Page of Cups is here with the Queen of Wands in reverse? The Eight of Swords. So every now and then, with the situation, there still is a little bit of tension around it whenever she probably rethinks it or rehashes it on that side, especially because I believe, some of her loved ones, especially her husband and stuff, are still here. So I think, that is the one thing that she thinks about sometimes, the things that were left behind and how quickly it was done. Usually the Eight of Swords, you are also bound and blindfolded. Now, I want to say that she was bound. Now on this card, in this Eight of Swords, they are not bound. She looks more like she is sleeping, but in the traditional tarot, it is someone standing there and they are have their hands tied behind their back, or they are bound and wrapped around, and then they are also blindfolded. So I think that is her also saying that is kind of what happened whenever he came in, because that is what he did. He did bound her. So let's go ahead and see why the Eight of Swords is here. Because the Two of Swords. So she is saying he kind of had a decision to do this or not do this. And this was something that he chose to do. Now, he did get, you know, charged for it, though, and sentenced. So that is also kind of showing that Gemini, Libra, Aquarius energy coming in the sense of the law and the court did come in later. And you do see right here, there's actually someone passed away floating there. So she is saying with these Two of Swords, he did make the decision to take someone's life, but now his life is gone, and he also got dealt with by the judicial system, which kind of also rules the swords. So that is going to be the first part of the spread. We're just going to kind of ask her to clarify a little bit here, if she can and doesn't mind. So again, we want to thank her for coming in. I want to thank y'all for clicking on the video and requesting it. So we are going to see why the Four of Wands is here. Can you please show us why the Four of Wands is here for the days leading up into your passing? Because of the Nine of Pentacles and the Nine of Cups. So again, there's the Nine of Cups energy. So when he came in, he knew he was going to do this. He knew he was going to flip her home upside down and come in and do what he did. So that was going to take away her independence in the earthly realm, Nine of Pentacles in reverse, and that was going to fill his cup. That is why over here I did feel it was both of their energy a bit, because she wasn't going to budge and, you know, let him feel like he completely took over her feelings and her ego in the sense of, you know, she didn't want him to think he won that out of everything that was going on. That's the last thing she wanted him to think that he did, was actually get to her like he was trying. So as I said, I do think she was very brave in the way that she handled it. So with the moon here, can you please show us why the moon is here? Can you please show us why the moon is here? Because of the Tower. So basically with the moon, he was doing these behaviors, like I said, sneaking around at night, you know, keeping these secrets, doing deceitful things, because he knew he was going to bring in this Tower moment that was going to flip the Four of Wands upside down on her. So that is what that is validating. Can you please show us who the Knight of Swords is and why are they here? Can you please show us who the Knight of Swords is and why is he here? Because of justice. So again, this is Gemini, Libra, Aquarius energy. Well, it's actually Libra energy, but that's air energy. So it could be other air signs involved, but I still do feel like air sign is involved. It could be a Libra, because I do see a lot more of signs coming in a little bit that kind of show things that would kind of go with the judicial system. But it is showing that he came in quickly because he thought he was justified to do so. So he basically kind of sat and waited and plotted this whole thing. He was going to blow up the Tower. He went in his energy because he felt that he had the right to do this. He didn't care. And also he also presented that he worked within the police. I think he said he was a police officer, or he was a police officer. So that would also represent that. So he could have came in that energy as well. She could be saying that. He might have even said that to her. You know, well, I work for the police force, or you know, the the county or something like that. But you know, that's just something that I feel like he dropped. That's why I think there's certain cards on the floor and the scales being weighed out, because there is certain information and things that he dropped to her to try to make it seem like, well, you know, there, even if she were to say something like he knew people. That's kind of what I think his point was by bringing it up. So with the Queen of Swords in reverse, why is the Queen of Swords in reverse? Yeah, so she is saying that even though she communicated with him somewhat, it would be harsh, it would be blunt, and it would be fast. At least from her perspective of it. I think he tried to get her to react more, and that's why she's saying she stayed very calm, she stayed very poised, and she did not let him know. I think she was very sharp with her words and very forceful, but as far as what she wanted and how she felt, but she was not going to let him know that she felt Queen of Swords in reverse and did not feel comfortable. So with the Nine of Cups, can you please show me why the Nine of Cups is here? Because of the Six of Wands. So this is why I feel like this was his kind of Nine of Cups moment. He felt like he was victorious because he was coming in and taking, you know, basically what he wanted and what he had been sitting and waiting and lying to do. Like, you know, he'd been waiting to do this and planning it. So that moment felt victorious for him, but not for her. So with the King of Swords in reverse and the Four of Cups in reverse, can you please show me why? So it's basically now the Queen of Swords goes upright. So this is going to be about the time that I think that he did go ahead and probably bludgeon her to death. And she is saying at that moment, it was a moment of relief when you go onto the other side. So she was kind of, whenever you pass on, it's like you disconnect from your body and what's going on with it for a moment. So she could have carried some of that energy over. I'm not sure what her birthday is, so I don't know if she is an air sign, a Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, because she is flipped over now into an upright position. So I do kind of feel like if she wasn't an air sign, she probably has had a bit of it in her chart, or it could be because she, you know, also knew he is going to get caught, and he did. But because it does also have the swords, and again, going with the judicial system, and that he did end up getting caught. But either way, it is showing after it did go ahead and relieve the earthly realm pressure of what was going on, and she was able to move to the next realm. So in the next realm, she still has moments with the Page of Cups and the Queen of Wands in reverse when she looks back on her life. So let's see why she feels that when she looks back on her life. Can you please give us a clarifying card to the Page of Cups and the Queen of Wands, and why you feel that way sometimes? Because of the Four of Cups. So it was because of him taking this fourth cup, which was her life, without her permission, and without, you know, it was just something, it was selfish. And there you see a skull, and there's that cup. So it is very much keeping it to himself. So she's just saying that, you know, the Four of Cups decision that he made is what made me feel this way on the other side when I think about it, and I get, you know, stuck in my thoughts with the Eight of Swords. Now with the Eight of Swords here, there is a binding done a bit, and you don't really see what's going on. And she is saying, again, because this is because of the Knight of Swords. So with the Eight of Swords, she is saying at times she feels the Eight of Swords when she would look back on the situation. And I'm sure that she's talking about, even her husband did say that he had suffered from depression, lots of anxiety, not being able to really move forward. That would also represent the Eight of Swords. Again, being surrounded by swords, communication, thoughts, law, the judicial system, and not being able to really move or see where you're going. But she is saying that the Knight of Swords made her feel this way in reverse. And when he came in in the Knight of Swords energy. So with the last card, you have the Two of Swords. So can you please show us why the Two of Swords is here? Because of the Empress in reverse. So she is saying that he did not treat her like the beautiful, gorgeous, you know, womanly energy that she was. So he didn't treat many of his victims that way. And she is acknowledging that, not just her, all of them. But she is saying, you know, he made this decision to take people's lives. He did get caught for it. But he also took away purity that a lot of these women had or felt about themselves. Like I said, again, they were mothers. They had mothers. They were daughters. Things like that. Like I said, I know some of his victims were men, but she is just speaking of her instance and, you know, the women victims at the moment right now. But she is acknowledging all of the victims. But she is saying that he did not treat women how they should be looked at or treated in the upright Empress energy. He looked at them as if they were not nurturing, no good, and not, you know, worth keeping around. Where when they're in the opposite position, you look at them pretty much as, you know, what every, you know, woman strives to be and what every man would like in a woman. So that is what she is saying, how he kind of viewed women in the situation when he did certain things. So we are going to get a Dark Mirrors Oracle card real quick, just to see if there's anything she would like us to know about him. She said he is a parasite. So that is clear. He did basically attack numerous people on numerous occasions. So he is a parasite to the human race. So now we are going to do the Heal Yourself Oracle. See if she has a card for that she'd like to give out for herself. Say what you mean. So I think this is what she's kind of getting across now a little bit. She's saying what she means. That there's a 9 if you add the 8 and the 1. So there's a little bit of tension there. I think it's kind of been a while since she's really maybe talked much about it or had anybody maybe tap into her about it. But I think she is trying to get across the best and say she is saying what she means. Very much in this section too, where she is saying she did not, you know, even though she was emotionally scared and didn't know what was going to happen, she did not let him see that. She kept the Queen of Swords in reverse firmness and kept, you know, did not let him realize he was rattling her at the time the best that she could. So, and then we're also going to get some Angel Whisper cards from her and just see if there's anything else that she would like to say. Do not focus on where you have been, but focus where you are headed. We'll get another one. I kind of feel like that's more of what she did in her life. I feel like she always focused on the next project and where she was going and had enthusiasm about what she was doing. And I think that's just kind of her advice to the collective, you know, is to maybe take on that sometime, that energy, you know, just focus where you're headed and you know, you can be a lot more determined to get your goal done in the way that you need it to be. And it also says, tell a loved one how much they do truly mean to you. It is better to tell them while they are among the living. So that is the second card that she gave out. So we'll go ahead and stop there, and we will thank again Manulea for coming in with her spirit guides and kind of giving her side of what happened that night with the Golden State Killer. Also, his name is again Joseph James D'Angelo. So this was in February of 1981, and she was 28 years old. So I want to thank y'all for requesting the video. I hope that I was able to, you know, give some clarity a little bit on the situation. If y'all have any questions or comments or anything that I left out information-wise, you can go ahead and leave that in the comment section. And then I have 2 more to add to the Golden State Killer too. So thank y'all again, and I will talk to y'all soon. Y'all have a good one.